Well, it's very nice to see you. Andrew Smith, is it?
Yes, I was sent by Mr. Hayter at rather short notice.
Yes.
So, but I'm very aware of your work and you as an artist.
Good, good.
And
good.
I mean, basically, I think we want to get just a general feel of how art's been for you over the years. I mean, I believe you were a young man in the war, and
well, of course, I was a very young man. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were 8-year-old, you must have been probably teens, early 20s at the actual end of the war. Or sort of.
That's right. That's right. And,
so
of course,
those formative years
yeah.
where in Germany and the unrest and everything, and which obviously influenced the British Isles and the war that ensued,
yes.
must have had an underlying effect on your development, and also, of course, Cornwall itself. Are those two combined things? I mean, can you reflect on those as relevant to your art, or?
Well, of course. I mean, when I first started off, I was taken on as a tea boy in the Camouflage workshops, and of course, I met the great Graham Sutherland and Paul Nash and all those great war artists, and I learnt a trick or two about how many sugars they wanted in their tea and things like that. But in their spare moments, they threw me the odd little tip and hint about how might one go about painting, and it got me interested, to be honest with you, Andrew. And that's a very important question. So that when I came to get into the Slade and begin my work as a painter, I reflected very much on their experience of painting large tanks and armoured vehicles, and it sort of, yes, it did, especially using the matte green and camouflage colours that I was partial to at the time. So much so, I camouflaged my paintings so much that nobody could find them for 3 days at an exhibition. I thought that was quite a nice ruse. My early exhibition involved camouflaging my art. I think that's probably quite surreal.
And so, coming on to Cornwall, I mean, how do you make the connection there then? I mean,
well, basically, as you probably know, I must admit, in the early part of my life, I was lost in my direction as to which way to sort of move forward with my work, and I had a bit of a breakdown after my parents died, and I decided that I would, I went to Bali, actually, on a bit of a jolly, and there I met the most mysterious fellows. Dalangs, puppeteers, shadow puppeteers, much like the ones you can see behind me that I brought over on my trip back, but they had a special message for me, as you probably know, Eric, and it's a message that I share with the artist Jonathan Hayter, and probably that's what we have in common, is this connection with the elements, let me say, and the way the elements reflect the internal spirit and soul workings of a human being. So when I came back, I wanted to get away from the hubbub of city life in London, so I sort of decided to move west. Basically, I followed the sun. It became an obsession, and of course now it's common knowledge that many people think that the sun, of course, is a conscious and living being, much like human beings, but on a different kind of level, a level in which we cannot simply comprehend, because our minds are not made or built to comprehend it. But I think this year, 2012, we are getting many glimpses into what that possibly might be, because all of us are being changed somehow by this dawning of the new age in which we live. And I find it most exciting, Eric, because us artists, Andrew, are leading the way in that fight to find a new consciousness in humanity that needs to transcend the global growth of capitalism, which has destroyed the spirit of man, and all the isms and systems which have. And I would like to say that I'm at the forefront of speaking out for the individual, but the individual connected to the collective. The collective unconscious, of course, you see. Does that answer your question?
Well, yes, but I'm not sure about the connections to Cornwall, which basically I said that
well,
war, and then you're now talking about a sort of more universal scale of things. But I just thought that possibly Cornwall may be relevant.
Yes, well, the connection came, of course, in the artists that came down here during the Second World War to escape the Blitz and all that, and also Cornwall has a very ancient aspect to it, and connection to something beyond our ken, really, and it's that kind of Celtic connection that drove itself into the roots of my being and led to the development of a new form of art. So when I came down here, I felt gripped by a kind of new sense of urgency in my work that drove itself to the fore. I think in the painting you can see behind you is one aspect of it, but there are many illustrations of my work that explore the aspect of the feeling that one is living very much in the elements, and that's what I liked about Cornwall, and that's what made me stay here. It was almost like a creative accident to get as far away from the humdrum south